Coming up today, we're making blueberry maple jam.
Sponsored in part by ourdailysalt.com. Handcrafted kitchen accessories and tools. Crafted by Chef Felicia Wild for the home cook or the professional chef. Made in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. Shipping United States and international. Visit ourdailysalt.com.
Welcome to Canning What You Grow. I'm Holly Baird. Today we are making blueberry maple jam. Now, I'm making this low sugar variety as opposed to a full sugar variety, just so I can let the flavors of the blueberries and the maple syrup shine through as opposed to having it be too sweet. I'm using frozen blueberries. You are more than welcome to use fresh blueberries. I just had these on hand. My brother gave them to me. So I'm using 4 cups here, and I'm just going to get them into the pot. Now, I discovered on the Ball website, the Ball Canning website, that there's an option where you can kind of make your own jam recipe. I'm loosely basing this off of a jam recipe that I found, but it didn't have any pectin in it, and I want the pectin so that it stands up nicely and it, you know, is a nice firm jam. So what I've done is I've gone to the Ball website, and Ball sells this pectin here, and it's for low or no sugar, and you can kind of customize how much you use. So if you don't have this, just so you know, 3 tablespoons of this equals 1 box of this. So that's something to keep in mind. And I'll put a link in the show notes to show how you can find that website. So I'm just going to add my 4 cups here, a little more. But altogether, you want 4 cups of blueberries for this recipe. It's going to make 6 half pints. So there we go. Okay. So there's our 4 cups. Then what we want to add to this is 1 full cup of maple syrup. So that's what I'm going to do here, is add this fresh from Wisconsin maple syrup. And that's going to give it some really nice maple syrup flavor. Then you want to add your lemon juice at this point as well. And make sure you check the date on your lemon juice before you get started with canning. You want to make sure that it's going to be fresh so that you can have the right acidity, and you want to use bottled lemon juice. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of that. Okay, and then we're going to get this on the stove and kind of start mixing and mashing it while we have it on the stove here, and we have it over a high heat. Now this will warm up pretty quickly, but if you're using frozen blueberries, it might take a little bit longer. And we're going to kind of mash it as it warms up to really get that whole jam, you know, feeling for it. So that's what we're going to do first. And then you want to bring it to a roaring boil. And luckily these berries mashed pretty easy because they were frozen. So I'm going to kind of mash it, keep going until it becomes a roaring boil. Okay, so now we're at a full roaring boil. And you know it's a roaring boil because when you stir it, it doesn't disturb the boil. So now we're going to add some brown sugar. This will help enhance the maple flavor. You want to do, for this recipe, you want to do 1.5 cups. So, and you want to mix it in. Now I kept stirring this the whole time I was waiting for it to come to a boil after I mashed my berries, because I didn't want that maple syrup to burn. If you're, you know, you want to pay attention to that kind of stuff. So I'm going to wait for the brown sugar to mix in, and then I'm going to add my pectin. Jam is pretty easy to make as long as you have the fruit and the ingredients. And one thing I want to mention is before you get started, you want to go ahead and turn your canner on and make sure you have everything in place so that once you're ready to go, it is kind of a fast process so that you're not looking for stuff or burning your jam or something like that. Okay, so I got this mixed in pretty well. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to add my pectin, and I'm using 5 tablespoons. And I'm going to shake it up here a little bit just to make sure it's mixed. Okay. All right, so There's 1 and 5. Okay. So we got that added. Now we're going to give this a good stir. And we're going to stir it just for about a minute. It's back to its roaring boil. You just want to stir it, let it cook hard just for a minute. Then you want to turn it off the heat. Okay, so that's been a minute. I usually honestly just keep stirring it, and I count to 60 each time I stir. That way I know it's been a minute. So I'm going to turn my heat off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my set. And this is fairly easy to do. All you have to do is you just take a little bit of your jam, and you take a bowl, or you can take a lid of a jar. You can do whatever you want. And you just take some of the liquidy stuff and you set it in there. And you let it cool to room temperature. Then you can check your set that way. I'm just going to keep stirring this since it's still cooking a little bit even though I turned the heat off. Okay, so I checked my set and it's not setting. I checked it twice. So I'm going to make this work by adding more lemon juice and pectin. Now, I don't know exactly how much pectin to add, and so I'm kind of guessing here. I'm just going to add a package of the low or no sugar pectin that I have on hand, just in case. I don't know, maybe this pectin is bad. I don't know. I've never used it before, so I was trying something new. I'm just going to use something I've used in the past. Sometimes you have to do this. It's not going to hurt it. Pectin is a natural substance. It comes from the inside of apples, so it's not going to affect the flavor. It's flavorless. It's going to help set up the jam. And I'm actually entering this into our state fair canning competition, so I want to make sure that it's going to be set up. I obviously want to win, and I don't want runny jam. So that's why it's important. You know, I could chance it. I could chance that it might set up once it cools down completely and, you know, processes in the jar. I don't want to take that chance. I want to make sure I have a good chance here. So I'm just going to let this stir for about a minute on high while it's boiling hard. Okay, so it's been a minute. We've been stirring it here, and I'm just going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to test it again so that I can make sure that I do have a good... Okay, so this set up really quick. As you can see, I mean, it's quite gelatinous. So I tried something new. It didn't work for me. I might have to do some research and see what I could do differently next time. So it's time to fill the jar. So we're filling these up. You want to have a 1/4 inch headspace that allows for a little bit of expansion, and then you want to get them into your canner. So we're just going to fill these up, and let me show you how we check for headspace pretty simply. Use this headspace measure. You need a 1/4 inch. That's right on the money. And then you want to wipe your, as you can see, I got quite a bit actually around my rim here. So you want to wipe that, because when you put the lid on, you want to make sure that it's going to have a good seal. So let's do that here. Okay. You don't want to clamp it down. You just want to finger tighten it. Then you want to get it in your canner. Okay, so our timer has gone off. So now it's time to get the jam out of the canner. So it's pretty easy to do. And when you do this, you want to be careful. You don't want to knock your jars or anything like that. I always lift up the little dropping handles to get them out of my way. Get my jars out one at a time. And you want to set them on a towel or flat surface here, but you don't want to put them directly on your counter. So you want to let them sit like that just for, you know, about 12 hours, 24 hours. And you want to make sure they're sealed. And once they're sealed, you can store them on your shelf without the rings, and then you're all set to go. If they don't seal, then you can just eat it, put it in the refrigerator, eat it within a couple weeks. Thank you for watching Candy What's Your Girl. I'm Holly Baird. So I wanted to tell you, I looked it up online and I figured something out. And when it comes to pectin, you want to follow the directions and follow the order of operations that come with the manufacturer. I actually did this wrong when I started with the Ball Pectin, is I should have added it first with the fruit and the juice and the maple syrup, as opposed to adding it later. So when you do use this, it usually comes with a packet or something that tells you, in this case it's on the inside, that tells you how the order of operation is, or even on their website, so that you can do the right order of operation and get the best set for your jam. So I just wanted to mention that it's good to read the directions and follow the directions, and that's where I had kind of failed. I'd done it the way I've done it before with the Sure Gel. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.